Ethiopian army ordered to march on Tigray capital, Prime Minister. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the military offensive has reached its final stage. Ethiopia's Prime Minister said Thursday the army has been ordered to move on the embattled Tigray regional capital after his 72-hour ultimatum ended for Tigray leaders to surrender, and he warned the city's 500,000 residents to stay indoors and disarm. The military offensive has reached its final stage after 3 weeks of fighting, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's office said. That means tanks and other weaponry can close in on Mekele, whose residents were warned of no mercy if they didn't move away from Tigray leaders in time. With Ethiopia on brink of escalation, diplomacy in doubt. That caused international alarm as rights groups said such wording could violate international law and put civilians in further danger. We will take utmost care to protect civilians, Abiy's statement said. It also asserted that thousands of Tigray militia and special forces surrendered during the 72-hour period. The United Nations has reported people fleeing Mekele, but communications and transport links remain severed to Tigray, and it's not clear how many people received the warnings in time. Tigray regional leaders couldn't immediately be reached. What is happening is beyond words, and it is heartbreaking to see a great country is collapsing, said a message sent from a Mekele resident on Wednesday and seen by the Associated Press. The message expressed hopelessness at not being able to reach loved ones elsewhere in the region, adding, "Oh God." The international community is pleading for immediate de-escalation, dialogue, and humanitarian access as Ethiopian forces have fought their way through Tigray to Mekele. The hostilities in Ethiopia are of major concern for the EU. Next to the casualties, the danger of a major humanitarian crisis is imminent. An immediate de-escalation is needed by all parties, European Union Commissioner for Crisis Management Jonas Lenarčič tweeted Thursday. But Abiy, last year's Nobel Peace Prize winner, has rejected international interference. His government has said 3 high-level African Union envoys for the conflict can meet with Abiy, but not with the Tigray leaders. Abiy's office on Thursday for the first time did say a humanitarian access route would open under the management of the country's Ministry of Peace, with no details. It also said distribution of supplies has begun in areas of Tigray now under government control. That came hours after the UN said shortages have become very critical in the Tigray region as its population of 6 million remains sealed off. It remains difficult to verify claims in the fighting that erupted November 4 between Ethiopian forces and the heavily armed forces of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which once dominated Ethiopia's government but has been sidelined under Abiy's rule. The two governments now regard each other as illegal. Fuel and cash are running out in Tigray. More than 1 million people are now estimated to be displaced and food for nearly 100,000 refugees from Eritrea will be gone in a week, according to the UN update released overnight. And more than 600,000 people who rely on monthly food rations haven't received them this month. Travel blockages are so dire that even within Mekele the UN World Food Programme cannot obtain access to transport food from its warehouses there. A statement this week from a civil society representative in the region, seen by the AP, described heavy bombardment of communities elsewhere that has kept many residents from fleeing. Other people are frantically moving within the Tigray region from one district to another and living within church compounds, streets, schools, health centers, the statement warned, and it pleaded for a safe corridor to ship in aid as food runs out. Human Rights Watch is warning that actions that deliberately impede relief supplies violate international humanitarian law, and that the complete shutdown of communications could amount to a form of collective punishment by imposing penalties on people without a clear lawful basis. Another crisis is unfolding as more than 40,000 Ethiopian refugees have fled into a remote area of Sudan, where humanitarian groups and local communities struggle to feed, treat, and shelter them. Nearly half the refugees are children under 18. Many fled with nothing. When it is cold, it hurts so much, said one wounded refugee, Alam Kaifa. At night, I have to wrap tightly with a blanket so I can sleep. But I don't sleep at night.